Today's video is all about blisters, and I wanted to share something with you that a podiatrist told me a couple of years ago that actually I had never thought about, and I wonder if you have. What she told me was that as we get older, not only does the skin on our face wrinkle and lose its volume, so does the skin on the bottom of our feet. So the pads of your feet, under the ball of your foot and your heel, get a lot thinner, and this can make you more prone to blisters. Also, of course, our skin gets much drier as we get older, and certainly after menopause. So really, preventing blisters does start with good foot care at home.
So, a few times a week, what I do is I will just wash my feet all over, give them a nice massage, sort of towel them dry, and then I use this Healthy Feet, which is a lovely, rich lotion, and I'll smooth that in, and certainly here around the heels, because these can be prone to cracking. I haven't had that yet, but at the base here you often find it can get very rough and dry, and it can crack. Like I say, I haven't had it yet, but I really do try and do this, because I always think it's just so much easier to prevent things than it is to try and put them right afterwards. So another thing that a lot of people seem to like are toe socks. So this is a pair from Injinji. So you get the inner liner like this, and then you put this outer sock over the top. So the idea with the liner is that you put your toes into these individual pouches here, and then they won't be able to rub together, and you won't get blisters between them. So basically, pop them on. It can be a bit sort of strange feeling when you first get these between your toes, and it's like putting gloves on. You have to kind of push your toes into each one. There we go. My little toe's always a bit resistant, so pop them on like that. So yeah, toe socks. There they are. And then this outer, very comfortable actually, these goes over the top. Okay, I find these really good, and I have never had blisters wearing them, although the only downside is my feet sometimes get a bit hot with the double layer on, but that really is beautifully comfortable. Give it a go. Now, if you already know that you are prone to blisters on certain parts of your foot, say your heel or on the tip of your toe or something, then you can plan to put extra protection there before going out. Obviously there's things like Band-Aid and blister plasters that you can use, but what I use is I use this Kinesiology tape. This is really a strapping and support tape, but I find it works really well in protecting any areas that normally might develop into blisters for me. I have got a blister on this toe here. I won't show you, I'm sure you don't want to see that, and that was because I ignored my own advice. I went on a long hike of around 20 miles, and I felt a hot spot starting to form on my second toe here. And of course what you should do is stop immediately and treat the area, but I didn't, and I carried on. So I have got a blister on the top of that. So what I do is I take some of this with me normally. I will cut it into different lengths, so just cut some off, and the company recommend that you round the corners of this, and they suggest that will help with the adhesion. So I just take different sizes, some that might fit my heels, some that will fit underneath here on the pad of my foot if I need it, and some that will fit my toes, and I just take them with me in my running pack. So just a rough kind of shape like that, and then if you just rub it in your fingers like that, just to warm up the adhesive a little, and then you just peel off the backing, and I'll show you how I pop it on. All I do is really just pop it over the top, so you can see what I'm doing. If I put that leg there, pop it over the top of the toe, and just squash it in at the side. And it's better if you don't overlap the tape. It would adhere and stay on a lot longer if you don't do that. So I will prepare certain areas. Sometimes I'll put one along here, if I'm going on a long hike, that is, because I do tend to find that's a hot spot definitely for me. But this toe at the moment, if I was going out for a run now, I would put this on, put this tape on, and then I'd follow it up with the things I'm going to show you next. So everything I'm talking about today, I will put some links in the description below so you can easily find them. Now, of course, there's lots of different products you can apply to your feet to try and prevent blisters, and this one, the petroleum jelly, was recommended for years, and I did try this. It worked well, a bit hit and miss, but I just didn't really like the feeling of it on my toes. But I would definitely give it a go. It's just not really for me. It's just too, I don't know what the word is. It's too jelly-like on my feet. Now, another product I've used is this Tom's Blister Shield. Now, this is like a very fine talcum powder. And what they say here, if I look here, they recommend that you shake the powder into your socks. I do that. So I've got a sock here. So what I'll do is I'll do two different preparations on my feet. So on this one here, we'll go with the talc. So basically, you've got an opening where you can get straight in there, and then a bit like a salt cellar, really. You've got the other side with the holes to reduce the flow. So I just open up my sock. It does work pretty well. It works pretty well, and it feels wonderfully silky on your feet. So, yeah, I can't show you that, but what I also do is I will sprinkle it on my feet. There we go, and massage in. It's very, very silky. Definitely always remember to go between your toes. Don't forget that. So you just want to rub all over your feet until you've got. The only thing with this is I would normally do it outdoors because it is quite messy, but it's going fine today. So I rub it in like that, and then pop the sock on. Here we go, and that's all ready to go. Oh, it does feel lovely actually. So now I'm going to prepare this foot with a different product. I don't know if you will have heard of this one, but this is my current favourite, and I haven't had a single blister wearing it, apart from when I ignored the hot spot on my hike the other day. I should have stopped and put some of this in. And it's thanks to Susie Chan on Instagram. Thanks, Susie, who told me about this tip when I was on a running camp with her. So I like to use Sudocrem. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried this for running, but it really is fabulous. And another thing I love is if I put this on in the winter, it seems to give this lovely warmth when I'm running and keep my feet warm. And really weirdly, I don't find it makes my feet hot in the summer. So I don't know how that works, but I really like using this cream. Obviously, this is if I squeeze some of this out, if there's any left in here, because I take this with me all the time. It's quite thick, like as you can see, quite a thick cream there. And then I will coat, I know this looks messy, but also of course you're giving your feet a really good hydrating massage at the same time. So I will put this all over my foot, all around the underneath, everywhere, around the back. Obviously it's easy to see where you've been, so just look between your toes and make sure it's all completely covered, and then on the ends as well. Feels wonderful. And then pop the sock on. All of these things wash out really easily, by the way. They last several hours, but they do wash out really easily. And once I put my running shoe on, it doesn't slip and slide. And that is my current favourite. Good old Sudocrem. Last used when I had 3 babies. Give it a go. I suppose I should also mention the issue of whether to pop blisters or not. If you look online at the medical sites, they will mostly recommend that you don't, because you do increase your chances of infection if you do that. Personally, I don't. If I had a big troublesome blister on a multi-day hike, I might think about it then, but I'd always sort of take antiseptic cream with me and cover the area carefully afterwards. But generally I'm quite good, and I don't let the blisters go too far, and I don't pop them. I just let them run their course. So as I personally am prone to getting blisters on the tips of my toes, there's one more thing I do which I think has really helped in preventing those, and it's to tie my shoe in a certain way so that my heel is locked more and it doesn't slide up and down or move back and forward in the shoe. So if I was going to wear these shoes, this is how I would do it. So if you can see, there's always that extra eyelet there. So you take the lace and you just put it into the eyelet like that, leaving a loop. So leave that loop like that. And then the same on the other side. So we find the eyelet there and push it through, leaving the loop. So now we have the shoe and we've got the two loops here at either side, and then the lace. So then you will pop your shoe on. You can make the loops into the eyelets once your shoe's on if you prefer. So now we have the lace, and you do here is you take the lace from this side and pop it over into the loop on that side. Okay, and then take the lace from this side, pop it into the loop on the other side. Okay, so you're in those loops there, and then you just wriggle it back and forth like this until it's tightened up, really locked down, and then tie it up as normal. And then what you find is that your heel really doesn't move against your sock at all, and it's sort of locked firmly in, and that seems to stop it banging so much against the front. Obviously you've got to make sure as well that your shoes are the right size. So once you put them on, and make sure you stand up so your foot goes forward as it would if you're running. You need a finger width there between your toe and the end of your shoe. I mean, I wear a size and a half up. I find that works for me. Any smaller than that and I start to have problems around here. So finally, I can't recommend this book highly enough if you're wanting to know anything about foot care and blisters, and well, actually anything about feet. It's by John Von Hoff, Fixing Your Feet. And I can't think you could have a single question that you won't find answered in there. Really highly recommended.